there are but a few of the ways in which the Congo can be helped. I'm sure that late though it already is, it is not too late. We African states should come together to assist the Congolese to solve their problems. And I feel sure we can do so, but it must be collectively and not merely as so many individual states. We must do it together, and we must be entrusted with this responsibility by the United Nations and given their full backing. Nor would I limit the advice and assistance to African countries, but should welcome the participation of other states, though I repeat that I think it would be advisable to exclude the great powers. And now to deal with the more general problems of Africa, problems which are bound to arise as those powers which colonized Africa in the last century are now relinquishing their control and granting independence to their former colonies. The best way for them to assist us to reach maturity is not by spreading ideological propaganda in whatever form it may be disguised, but by helping us genuinely with real goodwill to develop our resources and to educate our human material up to those standards which are necessary for proper development. Many of the new African states are indeed potentially rich and should contribute to improving the world, but for the fact that they lack the technical knowledge and the financial capital necessary to develop their resources. It is especially in this field, Mr. President, that I commend the many schemes which the United Nations organization has sponsored for assisting the underdeveloped countries. Indeed, I wish that there were many more of them. I would not necessarily limit technical assistance to the United Nations, but I do seriously suggest that it is in the best interest of the world peace for assistance from elsewhere to be given only to those countries which, although still underdeveloped, are politically stable and have a properly constituted government which is capable of understanding the risks of accepting aid from another country. Politically unstable because such aid will only give rise to suspicions, and in the end, the receiving country may find itself involved in the ideological war, a thing which, as I have already said, we in Africa must do everything in our power to prevent. I wish to make our position plain beyond any matter of doubt as regards the African continent. We in Nigeria appreciate the advantages which the size of our country and of its population give us, but we have absolutely no aggressive intentions. We shall never impose ourselves upon any other country and shall treat every African territory, big or small, as our equal, because we honestly feel that it is only on that basis of equality that peace can be maintained in our continent. That Mr. President, that way there can only be trouble. In the fullness of time, as political relations develop, and there is more and more consultation between the states of regional groupings, then political union may well be a natural result. but it would be wrong either to impose it or to seek to hasten the process unduly. So far, I have concentrated on the problem of Africa. Please do not think that we are not interested in the problems of the rest of the world. We are intensely interested in them and hope to be allowed to assist in finding solutions to them through this organization. But being human, we are naturally concerned first with what affects our immediate neighborhood. We do indeed believe in the United Nations organization as providing perhaps the only effective machinery for inducing world peace. But while proudly and gratefully accepting membership of this supreme world body, may, sir, I frankly say that we who waited for admission have sometimes been concerned lest our older and more powerful brethren are losing sight of the objectives which in founding this organization they sought to serve. If I think correctly, we in Nigeria are a populous country. There are about 40 million of us, and our territory is relatively large. We are willing to learn before we rush into the field of international politics. But we are totally unwilling to be diverted from the ideals which we think true. That is the reason, Mr. President, why we in Nigeria shall not be found to align ourselves as a matter of routine with any particular bloc. Indeed, I hate the very idea of blocs existing at all in the United Nations. It seems to me to be a contradiction in terms. This assembly is the supreme conference in the world. If the ideals on which it is based are really accepted, then one would expect every representative, no matter from where he comes, to feel absolutely free to express the mind of the country he represents, to feel that he is in no way restricted either by the lobbying of other representatives or, in the case of underdeveloped countries, by being put under an obligation through technical and financial aid. It may be that then, when we hear the world crying out for peace, we may receive the inspiration to deal with these intractable problems and be able really to devote all our resources to the advancement of mankind by applying those eternal truths which will inevitably persist long after we ourselves are utterly forgotten. Thank you, Mr. President.